You sure do like to share your opinions, talking big like somebody's listening. Nobody's listening.
Max! Oh!
Hit the ignition. Now you listen. Hop up in the window. Smaller and smaller you fade down. Hop up in the window.
Hello there, we are here. Oh, this doesn't like auto do. Okay. I should have known this from last week, to be fair. So yeah, we are now. Where have I gone? That okay. Now we're back on track. We've had two classic semi-finals games. Unfortunately, my Hawks couldn't make it, but we put up a great fight. I feel. I'm happy with the season overall. We were not expected to make the 8. We lost 6 of our first 7 games. We started 1 win, 6 losses. That was our start to the season. And we looked terrible as well in the first few rounds. We were like so bad. It was easy to play against us. But we turned it around spectacularly. Got some big wins. Beat some big teams along the way. Made the 8. Beat the Bulldogs in the finals. It was a good win against a good team. And we only lost by 3 points to Port Adelaide. We scored the same amount of goals. We lost by 3 points. That for me, like if you offered me that at the start of the season, I would have bitten your hand off. I'm just like, yeah, I'll take that season. Yes, 2020 that in 2024, yeah, give me it. Because my mindset was Hawthorn are rebuilding, are gradually improving. We will be back soon, but not now. But it was now. We're like ahead of schedule in a way. But yeah, it was nice. It was a nice feeling to get that far, and it was good to believe, because Hawthorn have not been doing too well since I've started supporting, but it was just good to believe that we actually do something. I was just like there were so many points in that last quarter I thought we might actually make the prelim here. Like it could actually happen. It didn't happen, but that it is what it is. Port Adelaide, fair play to them. They lost by 84 points in week 1 and they recovered from that. So you got to give credit to that. I feel, because it's not easy to lose like that and then come back and win the second week. That's not easy. They won it, and they won in a close game as well. So yeah, fair play to Port, and fair play to the Brisbane Lions. I thought they might lose, partly because the Giants, I feel, look better this season overall. The Giants also beat them late in the season, a few rounds ago actually. And on top of that, Brisbane's goal kicking is not reliable. Like they beat Carlton by 28 points. If they can kick straight, it would have been a much higher margin. Like they kind of let Carlton back in a little bit. But still, I just didn't expect them to pull off that win away at the Giants. And for most of the game, that's what it looked like. The Giants were all over them most of that game. The Lions came back a few times. But the Giants were ahead most of the game. They had for 129 minutes. Ahead for most of the game against Sydney as well. Choked a couple comebacks now. In the third quarter, the Giants were 44 points up. 44 points up in the third quarter. It was like, I think it was midway through the third quarter. 44 points up. And the Lions won it by a few points. I'm just like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like, that was an incredible comeback. Miracle on Grass 2.0. What a coincidence that their next game is against the team that they performed the Miracle on Grass originally on. Geelong. I'm pretty sure the Miracle on Grass was at the Gabba though that time. This time's at MCG. But yeah, fair play to Brisbane and Port. And it's safe to say that the semi-finals were much better than week 1. Like, it's not even close. It's in terms of like margins and quality of games. Basically, Sydney GWS versus week 2, basically, because the rest of the games were pretty comfortable wins in the end from the 3 winners. But yeah, we had 2 close games, and hopefully we get more close games in the prelims. As far as I'm concerned, anyone that's not Geelong, hopefully can win the flag. I wouldn't have minded GWS because they're a premiership tip. Port Adelaide I don't mind because they beat Hawthorn and if they win the flag, that means we lost by 3 points to the Premiership winner. That looks good. I like that. I like that idea. Sydney, I felt bad for them 2 years ago, so I would like to see him get some sort of redemption from that by winning the Premiership. That's the only way he can get redemption. Especially if he played Geelong as well, that would be quite crazy. And Brisbane, I like them as a club. They're the club I like the most after Hawthorn. So I support Hawthorn, don't support anyone else, but the club I like the most after Hawthorn is Brisbane. So I would love to see Brisbane win the flag, especially after the heartbreak of last year for them. So just not Geelong, please. Please, just not Geelong. But they got a good chance, Geelong, though. That's the unfortunate thing. But yeah, the last time we had a non-Victorian grand final was 2006, West Coast Sydney. So yeah, we shall see whether that is possible. I don't know. I just don't trust the Lions' MCG form. And I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to tip Geelong. I don't want to tip Geelong. But the Lions' MCG form, I don't know. To be fair, I didn't know if it beat Giants. And they did. But the MCG is something that's been going on for a while now. Unless they play Melbourne, they generally don't do that well there. That's what worries me. They did well last year, grand final. They did well last year. They lost, but by 4 points. They didn't lose because it was at the MCG. I feel they lost because Collingwood were just better overall on the day. But I just don't trust them enough. I want them to do it, but I just don't trust them enough. I'm gonna play Geelong as my prediction. And Sydney Port, my prediction for this is Sydney. The reason for this is not to do with how Port are doing. It's more to do with how Sydney have been doing. Obviously dominated most of the season. Then went on like a losing streak sort of. They lost like four out of 5 in a row or something. Something ridiculous like that. But after that bad run of form, they recovered well and finished the season strong. I think they got their mojo back at the end of the season. Maybe not as efficient as the start of the season, but still, it felt like they were back to winning ways. It felt like they're back to having confidence. And that last quarter against the Giants, I'm just like, wow, I thought they would lose to the Giants. But 27 points down, they came back in the last quarter. They were absolutely brilliant, the Sydney Swans. Not the first time this year they've done a comeback, especially the SCG. There was one against Collingwood a few rounds ago. So I just backed their confidence. They've had an extra rest again. They had another bye round to rest up and get ready for Port, who have had to go through the semi-finals process. But I wouldn't rule Port out. I think it's easy to underestimate Port Adelaide. After they got smashed last week, I think more people said Hawthorn win than Port win in the semi-final. And well, look what happened. Yes, they only just won, but a win is a win. They won, fair and square. So I wouldn't write them off. I do think Sydney away is a harder game than Hawthorn at home. And I'll say that even as a Hawks fan. But Sydney have been better than us this season, of course, obviously. Doesn't need to be pointed out. But I wouldn't write Port off. But my tip is still Sydney, because I just feel like they've got their groove back. And at home at the SCG with extra rest, I think it will be enough. I'm confident like I was 2 years ago against Collingwood. When they I said against Collingwood that they're going to beat. Whoever plays them in the SCG, they're going to beat. And I was right, only by a point though. But maybe I'm not as confident as back then, to be honest. But I've got a good feeling about Sydney, that they'll do really well. So I predicted the Sydney Geelong Grand Final. It's a bit boring, isn't it? Screw it. You know, risks are there to be taken. I'm going to listen to my heart. I listened to my heart the last 2 weeks. I tipped Hawthorn against the Bulldogs. I tipped Hawthorn against the Port Adelaide Power. Yes, we lost that one. But you know what? Brisbane, they might not be my team, but I like them a lot. I'm going to back them. Brisbane to break their MCG duct. And win the flag. We're here for it, okay? I am willing to take risks. I have to be willing. I feel like just saying Sydney Geelong is too safe. It's too boring. What's the point in the video? We've got to make excitement. Okay? Brisbane can beat Geelong. Can they do it at the MCG? We'll find out. But we'll see. We'll see. But Geelong also, they've had a rest, just like Sydney have. I think Geelong also have found their groove, a bit like Sydney, I guess. Although Geelong didn't dominate as much as Sydney did. Geelong obviously had the good first 5-6 rounds and then slipped away, but they got their groove back end of the season. I think Geelong will be favourites in that game. They probably are. I haven't checked, but I'm sure they are. But the Lions can do it, so screw it. This is partly because I like the Lions a lot, but I backed them to go all the way. All the way. But right now, in my opinion, the favourites for the Premiership are Sydney. And I could be completely wrong, and that's fine if I'm wrong. But I think they'll be hungry for this. For sure. But do not rule out anyone else. Any of these 4 teams I think could win the flag. The season has been unpredictable. So there is no guarantee that any of these 4 teams cannot win the flag. There's a chance for all of them. So I'm intrigued to see how it goes. I hope for 2 close games in the prelims and a close grand final. And just no Geelong flag. That would be great. The earlier they lose, the better. And this will backfire, right? Because if Geelong win the flag, then this whole video is just a jinx. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. And let me know your tips down below for the penultimate week of the season. This season has gone so fast. And it's been so fun. And we're going to have to wait bloody 6 months to start over again. It's bloody crazy. Anyway, see you later.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you